Ask me what I'm doing, just grinding. Haters wanna hate, let them hate, never mind them. Be more bins, tryna reach the next plateau. And I can't stop till I achieve my goals. Keep a couple fees inside the photos. So official with the vibe, you can't fuck up my zone. Hold on for a minute, let me count mine, you know.
Welcome to the Ultimate Wealth Podcast, the show where we unlock the secrets to financial empowerment and lasting prosperity. I'm your host, Derek Passalaqua, and together we're on a journey to transform your financial future and elevate your life to new heights. Join us each week as we dive deep into proven strategies, powerful insights, and transformative stories. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a busy professional, or someone seeking to create wealth and build a lasting legacy, this podcast is your go-to resource for achieving financial mastery and living a life of intentional greatness. This show is about more than just building wealth. It's about creating the life you deserve. So join us and let's build a future where financial freedom is not just a dream, but a reality. Welcome to Ultimate Wealth. Hello and welcome to another episode of Ultimate Wealth. I'm your host, Derek Passalaqua, and today we're going to be diving into the topic of wealth and ultimate wealth, and essentially what it means and what we mean when we say ultimate wealth, and what that means to us and what that really looks like, and what all that kind of encompasses as a whole. So when we talk about ultimate wealth, because I'm just going to jump right into it here and not beat around the bush. We'll get right to it. We don't have a ton of time, so don't want to waste any. So like when we talk about ultimate wealth, we're referring to, most people just think of their finances when they hear the word wealth, period. You know, you hear wealth, money, get rich, get wealthy, whatever. And the majority of people, you know, instantly think about money, rightfully so. That is the most common context in which wealth is referred, most commonly. But when we say when we name our company Ultimate Wealth and we say we want you to live a life of ultimate wealth, what we're referring to does include finances, but it's much bigger than that. It is also, it's all encompassing. It's all pillars and bases of and areas of your life. So we've broken it down, just for keep things simple. We've broken it down into 6 pillars of life, of which we want to help you essentially optimize your health and wealth. And when you can be wealthy in these 6 areas, we feel like that is truly living a life of ultimate wealth. Okay. And so the 6, I'm going to just go over real quick, and then we will go one by one, kind of break them down. And then we'll also talk about, how this kind of ties into infinite banking, the infinite wealth blueprint, and the things that we normally talk about, and we'll try to tie it kind of all together here. And by the end of this, the goal is to have you really have a clear picture, kind of a visual in your mind, but more importantly, a kind of a plan in place, a North Star, if you will, of a direction that you would really like to see your life headed in. And then not only that, but then also really have a few kind of the tangibles and intangibles of the things that you really need to do, focus on, concentrate on, and put your time and effort and energy into, and your focus on, so that you can really be able to have this life that you desire, right? So it starts with understanding where you're at, okay, and then identifying where is it that you want to go, where is your end result, where do you want to be, what's your desired outcome. And then once you know your desired outcome and you have a clear understanding of where you are, it's okay if you don't know exactly how you're going to get from A to B. But what we like to do is we like to start with the end in mind. Okay, after you've identified, you've got clarity on where it is you're at, and you have clarity on where it is that you're trying to go. Those 2 things are the most important. Once you have that, then you can start with the end in mind. You know where you're going, and then reverse engineer a plan back to get to that point. So, because if you don't know where you're going, you're just kind of wandering aimlessly. That's no good. And most of the time, you're likely not going to end up anywhere that someone would consider to be a desirable place. So I don't want that for you. Certainly don't want that for myself or anybody that I care about, which would include, any of my people in my community, my clients, customers, family members, friends, associates there. And just frankly, in general, I don't feel like anybody wants that. So the 6 pillars of a life of ultimate wealth include professional, personal, mental, emotional, and spiritual and social. Okay. So I know I went through that kind of fast. So like I said, we'll go through one by one and do our best to kind of break these down quickly. So we said professional. Now, when we talk about your professional life, we're going to kind of lump in your finances into there because typically someone's profession is how they tend to make a living. So when we talk about your professional life, we're going to talk about your income. Okay. We're going to talk about your job, and ultimately all of these things are related to each other, and they all play a pivotal role and literally directly affect the other as well. So if you don't have a good, stable home life, odds are you're not going to be able to focus at work. When you can't focus at work, that means your mental and emotional health is maybe a little bit off. And then as a result, your income will suffer. And so, in my opinion, you can't really just address or talk about one without talking about the other. You can't talk about being wealthy unless you talk about what it takes to create wealth. And part of the equation for creating wealth, in my humble opinion, is being able to be in a empowered state and show up powerfully and in a state where you're able to create and think and give and add value. And you can't do that if you have a poor mindset, if you have poor emotional health, if your spiritual health isn't on, if your home life isn't in good order. It's very difficult to show up on a consistent basis, because that's really what all of these take, or they're a consistent applied effort over extended periods of time. And that's kind of the thing nobody likes to talk about, because it's not fun, it's not sexy, but it's the truth. And there's nothing really glamorous or awesome, wonderful about it. It's just the fact that in order to achieve anything great in life, regardless of what it is, the facts are it takes consistent effort over a long period of time, day in, day out, doing the same, typically very boring, tedious, monotonous tasks over and over and over again, very at the same high level, and just repeating that process until it's second nature, and then doing it some more. And then one day you end up with success, and people think it's this big overnight cataclysmic event that happened, when in reality you've been putting in the work and laying the foundation for many, many years, and the fruits of your labor are just now, kind of coming to fruition, being seen by the outside world. So professional is going to include your job, your income, and your relationships outside of basically your personal life. So anything relating to what you do for work or to earn a living. Then next is personal. Okay. Personal is going to be your family, friend, or really just your family, immediate family, extended family, your home life, your marriage, your relationship with your kids, your wife, so on and so forth. Okay. That's going to be your personal life, your personal health and wealth. Then after that, we have your social, which is going to include your friends, going out to socialize with others, being in a community. Maybe you're part of a church group, or you play bingo on Wednesday nights, whatever it is. It's your social, the relationships that you have, and the people that you enjoy speaking and hanging out with and talking to outside of your family and your personal life. Okay. And then after that, we start to kind of turn inwards, and it goes, the next 3 are all not physical, tangible things, but they are more things that you can't see or touch or feel. So it's mental, which when we say your mental health, your mental wealth, really we're talking about your mindset. Okay. So we believe that it's very important to have the right mindset. If you're going to do and achieve anything, I feel like that's a pretty commonly, widely known and commonly shared belief, among pretty much, anyone. So Your mindset matters. Your thoughts create your reality. And ultimately, in order for you to act, you have to have a belief, which I would include your beliefs in here. And then if you believe you can do something, you're going to act and do it. You got to get yourself in a state where you'll act. But it's all about what you believe or based on the experiences that you've had throughout your life. And what are you feeding your mind? Are you feeding it good stuff? Because like it's going to grow. It's going to return to you. It doesn't matter if you put in good or bad, but output and input are always going to be correlated. So what are you putting into your mind? What are you feeding your mind? Are you watching and reading things that are good, inspirational, healthy stuff that you can learn? Or is it just constantly 24/7 drama and garbage and BS that isn't serving you? Okay, so that's mental. Next is your spiritual, I guess next we'll go with emotional. So emotional is going to be your emotions, which is how you feel, right? Which is largely dictated by what you believe, what you think. So I believe personally that nothing is good or bad, but everything just is. What makes it good or bad is the meaning that we associate or we give or assign to something. So if your boss walked in and said you're fired, most people would say, well, that's bad. Well, that's only bad because you're assigning that meaning to it. You're saying it is. But is there a way, because I personally believe that there is literally a way that you could put a positive or a good spin on anything that you think is negative. So if somebody punches you in the face, there could be a positive that can come out of that. I don't necessarily know what it is. It just would depend on the circumstances. Like right now, if somebody punched me in the face, maybe I needed to wake up. Maybe if I work for somewhere and I got fired, maybe that's now an opportunity for me to go seek out something I'm passionate about and start my own thing that I've been wanting to do for a while. So there's everything is about perspective and how you look at it. That's the bottom line. Okay, so that's your emotional health. That's going to determine how you feel, and how you feel will determine how you act most of the time. Most people are not capable of acting and taking action greater than how they feel, okay? Unless you have extremely good discipline, which is going to tie back into your beliefs and your mindset. And last but not least, certainly not least, we have your spiritual. When that is going to be your relationship with, I believe in God, but you're right. If you do or don't, I'm certainly never going to try to push my beliefs on anybody, but if it's a higher power of any kind, maybe it's the universe for you, but it's just this, we all have this soul, and I feel like most people feel some sort of a connection to some kind of a higher power or being, whatever you want to call that is completely up to you. It's, not my job to push any of my beliefs into anyone else. I would certainly be more than happy to talk about them if somebody was to ask. But again, I am able to fully respect anyone's opinions and beliefs, and everyone is certainly 100% entitled to their own opinions and beliefs. And just the same as I wouldn't want, an atheist or someone pushing their beliefs down my throat, I can certainly respect the boundary to never also do that to someone else. Again, be more than happy to discuss it and talk about it, because I'm a very proud Christian, and I believe I'm here today about the grace of God. I'm very grateful that He came into my life and saved my soul, and I'm thankful every single day for that. Every morning when I wake up, I make it a blessing, and I certainly don't deserve the grace He's given me. And again, everybody can have their own beliefs, and that's okay. It's okay for people to have a difference of opinion and a different belief system. That's what makes us all different and unique. And that's what makes this country great, is you're allowed to have your own beliefs and your own thoughts and your own feelings. I just think it's important that you have some belief. I don't care what it is, but just find some belief, something greater than yourself that you can kind of believe in and live for. And I think that, to me at least, that's an essential ingredient to a life of ultimate wealth. Without my relationship with God, I would not consider my life to be a success, because I personally believe that everything I have is because of God allowed me to have it. and he can take it away just as quick as he gave it to me. And at the end of the day, I don't think any of it's coming with me whenever my time to go. And so the things that really matter a lot of times in life, like if we were on our deathbed and we were thinking about the things that matter, many times it wouldn't be the things that we really think are the most important things to us today. Those are the things that probably wouldn't amount to a hill of beans if we were about to draw our last breath. And that's something I encourage everybody to think about. Because I know for myself, for a very long time, that's something I never thought about. And my life reflecting that. So just some food for thought. Okay, so we've identified our 6 areas of life that we feel you must optimize to truly have a life of ultimate wealth. Again, quick recap. It's professional, personal, social, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And again, we could argue over if there's more or if there's less or whatever. That's just the 6 we broke them down into. Feel free to create your own. Hell, feel to comment. Let me know in the comments if I missed one or if just what your thoughts are. Feel free just to share, and I'd be happy to read, respond, and interact in any way that you would like. So now, what I really want to talk about now is I want to get to the meat and potatoes here of how all of this really ties together with what we do and how you can implement all this to truly start living a life of ultimate wealth. Okay, so one of the concepts that's no secret we talk about a lot and we teach here to our clients is the infinite banking concept. Now, the infinite banking concept to me is maybe a little bit different than what it is to a lot of more what I call traditionalists or purists, people that are just really by the book of what Nelson wrote in Becoming Your Own Banker, referring to the late R. Nelson Nash and his book that he wrote when he coined the phrase infinite banking, Becoming Your Own Banker. And he used to travel all around the country doing these amazing seminars and teaching people the concept. And he was just a phenomenal speaker and really, from what I hear, was just a sight to behold if you were fortunate enough to get to go and attend one of these seminars that he would do. Fortunately, I was never able to meet Nelson or attend one of his seminars before he passed. Wish I would have, but I've spoken to several people who have, and from what I hear, it was nothing short of amazing. So anyways, now, infinite banking to me personally, and what we really teach our clients, is simply nothing more than a tool that we can use to help our clients form a foundation upon which they can build the rest of their financial house. So when you have harmony and congruency in all these other areas of your life, that's when you can really get into a flow state and you can really make exponential leaps in terms of your finances. So when you are firing on all cylinders, okay, and your professional life is going great, and your professional life typically, at least in my experience, is going great, whenever the other parts of your life, like so whenever my marriage is in good shape, whenever my mental health, my emotional health, my relationship with God, whenever all these things are in alignment, that's typically when I'm doing the best at work, because they all are in direct correlation with one another. Okay. And so when I think about finances, we want to talk about what are your values and beliefs, because typically we want you to get your money in alignment with your values and beliefs. What's important to you? What matters to you? What do you care about? Now, whenever you start to identify these, I encourage you to take out a pen and paper, write them down, and really think about it. What's important? What do you care about? What do you value? And is your money currently in alignment with those values and beliefs? Or is it not even anywhere close to being in alignment? Because a lot of times I find that a lot of my clients have very strong, passionate views and opinions and beliefs and values about things. And then when we go to look at their portfolio, they're telling me one thing and they're showing me a completely different. And whenever I begin to have the conversation with them, I find that a lot of times it's really just that they never really took the time to sit down and even ask the question, is my money in alignment with my values and beliefs? And I believe that infinite banking is a excellent way to help not only increase financial efficiency, but really put you in control of your money, because I believe you're your own greatest asset. And the number one investment you can ever make is in yourself. And so why put someone else in control of your finances? I like the idea of you being in control, of you being the decision maker. Listen, there's nothing wrong if you have a 401k at work, that's fine. If you have a Roth IRA or an IRA, retirement account, 403b, whatever, that's great. A lot of people seem to think that you have to choose between having those things or having or doing infinite banking or having a whole life insurance policy. So I think it's important. Number one, that whole life insurance is not an investment. Okay, that's number one. But number two, it's not an or asset; it's an and asset, right? So you don't have to choose between this or that. It's not about can I do whole life or can I do my 401k? And what we teach people is that your 401k, or I'm sorry, your whole life policy is, it could be a few things. So it could be your emergency fund, because we believe you should have 6 to 12 months of living expenses minimum set aside. That number's different for everyone, whatever it looks like for you. And then everything above and beyond that becomes an opportunity fund. So we believe that you should still do whatever it is you're doing. And number one, if you're in debt, if you have high interest debt, because I do believe there's bad debt and good debt. So if you have high interest debt, you should pay that off first. Okay. But ask the question, is there a more efficient way to do that? Because you got to remember there's such a thing as opportunity cost, which means that for every dollar you spend, you don't lose that dollar, but you lose the dollar and everything it could have made you for the rest of your life. So you have to remember that Nelson, one of the first things he taught in the book, and he said very clearly that to understand this concept, you must understand this point. And that is that we finance everything we buy by either we pay interest to someone else, like a bank or a creditor, or we give up the ability to earn interest by spending that money, and now it's gone, and now we can't earn interest on it. So even if you pay cash for a candy bar at the store, you financed it, whether you know it or not, because you gave up the ability to earn interest on the money you paid for that thing. Okay, so everything, there is no escaping opportunity cost. Okay, that's just number one. Okay, there's no escaping it. You're going to pay it. The question is, how do you minimize it? How do you most effectively minimize it? What's the best way? What's the most optimal, most efficient way? And I believe that's where infinite banking comes in, because it allows you to have more control and, most importantly, in my opinion, more options. And typically speaking, more options equals better results. At least it should. Now, a lot of people argue that if you're younger, you can take more risk. I was just actually on a call with a gentleman earlier today who was telling me that if you're younger, it's okay to have more of a stock-heavy portfolio, because since you're younger, you can take more risk because you have more time to recover. My counter argument to that is always the exact same, and that is, since you're younger, you don't need to take as much risk because you have more time. Screw to recover, you have more time, so you don't need to take more risk because you have more time to not take risk and just grow at a consistent, steady pace and let compounding do its thing. And when you're younger, compounding is on your side because you have the most important element in compounding, time, right? So, when we talk about infinite banking, the best ways that I know of to mitigate opportunity costs is by leveraging policy loans. So we can get tax-deferred growth, we get tax-free access, we can pass it on tax-free. So we would take a policy loan out to go, say, secure real estate. And then there's always a cost of capital, right? But it's a controlled cost of capital with life insurance, because if we're in a high interest rate environment and interest rates are up over, say, 5-6%, then we use our policy. If interest rates are low, like they were a few years ago, we'd go to the bank, we'd leverage our policy and take out a loan from the bank. Either way, we have a controlled cost of interest that we know can never exceed 8%, at least for the funds available inside of our policy. Okay. And so what that does is that allows us to be more strategic, and to, most importantly, we get to control the capital. Our money is not locked away. And so when opportunities present themselves, the ones who are able to make those exponential leaps in wealth and see these opportunities are the ones that are in the best headspace, have the best mental clarity, feeling good, have the right emotions, and all these things we talked about earlier allows them to see these opportunities, because opportunity is everywhere. If you're looking for it, and if you're ready and prepared and able to take action when it presents itself, that is when you can make an exponential shift or leap in your net worth and your overall financial wealth, and you're liquid. You can take advantage of things that others can't. Others can't because if their money's locked away, they get penalized for touching it. They simply don't have access. The banks won't lend. So, whatever the case may be, you never have to worry about any of these problems inside of a whole life insurance policy. Credit score doesn't matter. There is no application process. You just say it's your money. You want to borrow it. It's there. You got it anytime you want. And you can take advantage of these opportunities during downturns, during crashes. If in 2008, whenever, the housing market blew up, the people that came out on top, it ruined a lot of people. It was a bad deal for the majority of folks, but there was a select few who actually made exponential shifts and had huge growths in their net worth and income. And those are the people who had access to capital. The best way I know to create wealth quickly, anyways, because there is no secret get rich quick, that does not exist, but is to basically be ready, prepared, looking for opportunity, and have the ability when it presents itself to take advantage of it when very few other people can do so. Warren Buffett says, when there's blood in the street, it's the best time to make money. So are you in a position to take advantage of an opportunity? Are you looking for opportunity? Do you know what opportunity even looks like? Do you have a mindset that is serving you, that is conducive to good financial acuity and financial health and overall just a general wealth building mindset where you can see the good, the potential in things, you can see opportunities where others can't, and most importantly, you are in a position where you have the confidence and the calm, just that something about you where you just feel good because you've done the things, you've put in the work, you've taken the steps, and now the time has come, the opportunity shows up, and you're sitting there ready and waiting to take advantage of it. And guess what? You get it because you put in the work, you did what you need to do, and nobody else can because you're liquid and they're not. And the best part is your money is going to continue to compound and grow. And so if you're smart and you deploy it to go take advantage of these other outside investments, okay, then when it starts to yield a return, you can use that cash flow to then pay your policy loan off. So if you listen to any of our content, you'll know that we talk a lot about, we're not big fans of saving. We would rather create cash flow, because if you look at the 4% rule, if you have $1 million, 4%, that's not very much to live on. You're talking about living on $40,000 a year. How much easier would it be to create that amount of money a year in cash flow? Much, 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 much easier. Far easier. So that's just a shift in perspective. And when you have cash flow, you can spend it all and it replenishes itself every single month. So I would encourage you to think from a cash flow perspective and an opportunity perspective and have a growth mindset. And when you put all these things together, you start to understand what it looks like to live a life of ultimate wealth. I appreciate you tuning in today. That's all the time I got. I thank you so much for everybody that's listening. If you want to learn a little bit more about what it is that we do, I know today maybe it was kind of long-winded and maybe didn't make a lot of sense to some people. Just had some things in my mind and my heart I just need to get off my chest and just talk about. I feel a lot better now that I did. But if you want to learn more, if you want to reach out and talk, if you want to set up a meeting, if you just want to have a discussion, or hell, maybe if you want to come on the podcast, reach out to me at support@getlegacyguard.com. You can also visit us on our website, mydebtfreeadvantage.com. or ultimateacceleratorblueprint.com. Our newest site, ultimateblueprint.com is also, ultimateblueprint.pro is also now available, as well as our app and our community site with a ton of free resources. There's video courses on there where I actually say things that make probably more sense than today did. I'm a little bit rusty getting back here. It's been a few days since we were able to make any content because we had a lot of stuff going on. We've been super busy working on some big things, so super excited to talk about and have some really big announcements coming up in the future. But again, if you want to check out our community, if you want to get some free resources, go over and visit. And I'll put all these links down below, but it's ultimatewealth.mvt.so. Again, that's ultimatewealth.mvt, Michael Victor Ted.so. My name is Derek Passalaqua. I appreciate you tuning in, and as always, live your legacy.
Just grinding. Haters wanna hate, let them hate, never mind them. Be more bins, tryna reach the next plateau. And I can't stop till I achieve my goals. Keep a couple fees inside the photos. So official with the vibe, you can't fuck up my zone. Hold on for a minute, let me count mine. You know. They throwin' salt on my name. Ooh, they let it throw shade. Cause a young nigga paid, family straight. Diamonds in my chain, I'm just doing my thing. Nuts just dragging, nothing here average. I'm far above that shit, simple and plain. Ballin' when it's sunny, but I keep some cheddar stack for the rain. Yeah, I keep some cheddar stack for the rain. Say it with some fees and they all on my team. Rollin' my lap, pouring my drink. Team me too, everybody at the table. They came a long way from that bootleg cable. Nigga me losing, there ain't no way. My homie just died and they cried for days. Tomorrow ain't